Did you know that, according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, 1 in 9 prisoners in the United States is serving a life sentence? Yes, you heard it right. Life sentences. But not everyone remains behind bars for their entire life. Let's dive into the tales of 10 individuals who outlived insane prison sentences. Number 10, John Bunz. At the ripe age of 93, this man was sentenced to 30 years in prison for killing his wife. Bunz served only a fraction of his sentence before passing away at the age of 103. He outlived a sentence that others might not have survived. Next up, at number 9, Bill Heirens. Known as the lipstick killer, Heirens was just 17 when he was sentenced to life in prison. After 65 years behind bars, he died at the age of 83, proving that even the most shocking crimes can have unexpected endings. Number 8, Joe Ligon. Sentenced to life in prison at 15 for involvement in a series of robberies and murders, Ligon was released at the age of 83 after 68 years in prison. He holds the record for the longest-serving juvenile lifer in the world. Number 7, Paul Geidel Jr. Convicted of second-degree murder at the age of 17, Geidel served 68 years and 7 months in prison before being released at the age of 86. Coming up at number 6, Johnson Van Dyke Grigsby. Sentenced to life in prison for murder in 1925, Grigsby was released in 1981, having served 56 years of his sentence. He lived to be 93. Halfway through at number 5, Richard Honeck. He served an astonishing 64 years and 1 month in prison for murder before his release in 1963. Honeck lived for another 7 years before his death at the age of 87. Number 4, Francis Clifford Smith. Sentenced to life in prison for murder, Smith served 64 years and 5 months before his release. He lived for another 2 years, passing away at the age of 89. Number 3, Charles Fossard. Convicted of murder in 1910, Fossard served 70 years in prison before his release. He lived for another year before his death at the age of 89. Number 2, Mark DeFriest. Known as the Houdini of Florida for his multiple escape attempts, DeFriest was sentenced to 4 life sentences plus 99 years. He was released on parole after serving 34 years. And finally, at number 1, Charles Ford. Convicted of murder in 1922, Ford served 64 years in prison before his release. He lived for another 12 years before his death at the age of 108. There you have it, the top 10 individuals who outlived insane prison sentences. From John Bunz, who lived to 103, to Charles Ford, who saw the ripe old age of 108 after serving 64 years in prison. These stories serve as a reminder that life can take unexpected turns, and even the grimmest circumstances can sometimes have surprising outcomes.